COMICHEAD84, another huge Buscema fan. How are you doing, Ken?
Absolutely. I'm just hanging out, man.
Just
Yeah,
awesome.
pumped on the idea of hanging out with my buddy JD and talking some Buscema, man.
Exactly. We're gonna have some fun here.
Yeah.
We're gonna open this up to anybody who wants to join in and go out there and chat and stuff like that. But I was gonna say, I guess I'll start out my Buscema experience. I would say what made me first like Buscema the most, and it has everything to do with our background right now on this cover. It was that. It was me going into the comic shop, after buying like my Thor book and my Beta Ray bills and everything. It was so big at the time in the mid '80s or early to mid '80s, and then I discovered that cover was on a wall, like a poster of it, like that, and I was just like, "What is that?" And I wanted to know. It's like, "Who?" It's Silver Surfer, and I was like, "Okay." Nobody ever really dealt with him in the early '80s. He wasn't really around. I wasn't into the Defenders yet, and hey, Luis Ramirez, how are you? You couldn't really know what made you like Buscema, and bang, that cover is what did it. Made me like the Silver Surfer. So I always say that Buscema, it was that cover, that moment when I got that, I want to know who it was. And then I started to research, and I'm like, he did all the Thors I liked and everything else. And I started looking through, wow, he did that one. And that's the first time I cared who did the cover, was because when I asked somebody, what's that? They said, oh, the Buscema. They never called it Silver Surfer 4 to me. They said, oh, the Buscema. I was like, oh.
What age range are you referring to in this time for yourself?
This is the early 80s. I was about 10.
Okay.
This is 1984, 83, probably mid 84. I was buying comics. It's Secret Wars time, absolutely. It's absolutely Secret Wars is in the middle of summer, probably when I first discovered that. And I was buying Thor books and everything else, and it was the Beta Ray Bill time. And it was the Simonson run. And what I discovered was going to buy these other books, was seeing the Buscema stuff, but never really knowing who the artist was is something we didn't care about when we were reading. I was 10. I didn't give a rat's ass.
Same here. Yeah.
But I remember one of the first things I always learned about comics was this was done by John Buscema. And that's how they referred that to me when I said, wow, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. I love how Thor is drawn. He goes, oh, that's done by John Buscema. I said, I've never seen that Thor book. He goes, no, it's a Silver Surfer. And I'm like, oh,
yeah.
Tell me about that guy,
Yeah.
And that's exactly how I get into Silver Surfer. So nice. Thank you very much. Happy birthday. Yeah, it is. Actually, it's funny. My birthday was Tuesday. So, yeah. My birthday and Matt Baker, Golden Age Artist, is Tuesday. Buscema is Wednesday. So yesterday was Buscema's birthday.
Nice. You're in good company.
Yeah. So, what was your Buscema? Like, what was the first time you discovered him? I would say.
Yeah, because being exposed to his books and stuff happened well before I knew what I was looking at, knew who the artist was. Kind of like you said, because as a kid, it's all about just being just engrossed in the characters and the stories and everything. I guess it wouldn't be until I became like more of a collector.
Right.
So we're talking into my 20s, mid late 20s, when I really start paying attention to that kind of stuff. That you pick up, it's Buscema.
Nice.
and it's same here. Silver Surfer, Galactus.
The run.
Always love those characters. And honestly, I like a lot of the quintessential Silver Surfer stories, Galactus stories. But not every single one. Quite frankly, as far as like reading, like Batman and X-Men has kind of always been my forte. But I've always just been fascinated by the design and the artwork of Silver Surfer and Galactus. Like, it's just something that is totally always in the concept of them and everything. I don't know, he didn't create them, but still, I'm a big Kirby guy, and my definitive Surfer and Galactus is Buscema's, I think.
It is. I mean, it's one of those things that we could go with Kirby. is king. He's King Kirby, and Buscema is Michelangelo. But the one thing you would say is that Buscema was always called poor man's Kirby, or he always followed Kirby, and he did. Kirby's biggest things Buscema started getting, except for some Fantastic Four. He started in the 100s, so it's right around that time post Kirby, and then John started doing a lot of the Thors in the 170s post the Kirby. Silver Surfer, the whole run 1 through 17 was him.
Yeah.
It's just what there they are. He was one, right? And then he was doing the Avengers post Kirby, and people started to like the way Buscema drew that little extra Kirby-esque style. Jack invented it, and I think what John did is John put not only the impact in something, but the anticipation more. And that's where I always say right there, like John the anticipation. Yeah. And it's kind of like how we were saying, like the Silver Surfer. It was the anticipation, finding out who the heck that character was and how he was drawn. The way Buscema drew him, it was so much more. He was human, He wasn't like a cosmic nut,
Right. And his style is perfect for Surfer too, because if you're writing a Surfer story, you want to have lots of Surfer soaring through space on a surfboard, which gives you so many options for badass poses and the whole bit. You don't really want like static Silver Surfer standing on his board. You want him with all kind of dynamic movement, and that's kind of why I lean towards the Buscema versus the Kirby when it comes to Surfer. Because man, if you read one of his Surfer comics, you can point out so many amazing panels, which we will in my big ass artist edition and jumbo size.
That's what I mean.
Great poses that we can point out and stuff, and it's like perfect pairing for Buscema to do his thing of like this character that's always in movement, on his board.
Yeah. That's one of the things is people are known for their characters they've drawn. If you say Neil Adams, you think Batman, you think, Green Lantern. You think Buscema, you think Silver Surfer, but he only did those 18. Thor, he did a bunch. Conan did a bunch. Avengers, but John did everything. I mean, I was just going to show, some people don't know this, but John actually did, and I was just going to show this right now. Popular title, people don't realize that he did, X-Men. Did about 4 or 5 covers in the 40s, the X-Men. The floating head cover, 40. This is my favorite one of the bunch. I'm not even a huge X-Men fan, but this, I always compare this is where, you see how it's all the black and white is down, where it's down there, and that's like and then just the brightness in the middle. Always reminded me of him doing this cover. It's just great contrast.
Right. The muted colors in the foreground. Yeah.
The muted color in the foreground. Just a great move by him.
Hey, what's up, Los in the house?
Nice, Los. How are you? So, we're just showing some Buscema stuff here. I was just showing you a rare cover. There's a few of these I'm looking for. I know a few people have asked me, but when we talk about John's interior, I was just going to share this one here. Just not that he just draws women great, but this is a good, what I call the dynamic of Buscema in every which way. You've got the overaction movement, overly doing it on the top left, and then the next one you've got the facial shot with the foreground, and he always draws the same way when it goes through in the pencils. They're very ill-defined in the background, but define much more the character. Then you got, of course, the action shot, and then of course you got the boob shot, and it's perfect because that's exactly what we wanted.
Yeah, this
was a great version of the She-Hulk right there. I mean, he did draw women really well.
Oh wow, look at that.
That's from Conan's right there. I mean, what I tell people, this is some of the original art I've seen for sale of Buscema that I've gone crazy to try to get. That's one. We will get into that one a little bit.
The one that got away.
The one that got away. That one. One more woman one. There it is right there. And one of my favorites is Bellet right there.
Yeah.
I'm a Bellet man more than I am. But that's Bellet.
That's one aspect of Buscema I never really collected much is the Conan stuff.
Yeah. Well, it kind of segues into a great point. We talked about the characters he's known for, Conan and Thor.
Yeah.
Probably his two known ones. The other one is Conan. So this is his Conan portfolio. This is they did these. Wrightson did one. This is done by Conan Properties, but this was a big thing where they hand out these plates, and they're signed. Each one is signed and numbered. There you go. Number 275 of 2000.
Is that just a sheet of paper? Is that?
Yeah, well, this is the envelope, and inside the envelope comes plates, which are like limited edition prints of Buscema's work on Conan's.
Oh wow!
So I'll just bring that up here. You can see the detail of everything there, and John's work with Bellet right there. Just phenomenal work. I mean, he drew Conan. In my opinion, shout out to Ron Wilson who did that. What if Conan fought Thor? It's my favorite one. It's great. I've talked about this design, this picture. This is well known as one of the most callback to the Golden Age. Flagged by the Comics Authority, everything, but he didn't care. He put it in anyway. It was great.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. They put it in, and that's where Savage Sword started to come out there. And this is a great one here. There's violence.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect right there.
Yeah, you should make your screen big when you're showing those, JD.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize about that. I always forget to do that. I do that on the worst and the other shows I do. Sorry. As we're all Buscema'd out.
Oh, yeah.
This is a great one here. I love the contrast of this full-on splash. You got the day, the night right there. That's perfect. And John's work on Conan is well documented. It's some of his best work. Oh, I forgot about this one. This one's kind of like the... Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Just good stuff. But John, I kind of love these plate things. I've got a Wrightson one. But I love these. I have Starlin. I've got Perez. And if you find these in their original envelope, a lot of them, they were done in the 80s. What it is, 1980? 1980. These were done in the 80s. They usually were 2,000, limited to each one, and signed in pencil by the artists. I forget how many different ones there are, but they're fun.
So are those all signed?
Just the envelopes are signed.
Oh, I see. Yep.
Yeah, in pencil. So don't erase it. But it's John's signature. I've got him on a few things. So,
dude, I just realized your shirt now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's funny. Sorry, I'll bring this back to everybody. So yeah. So that's Conan. But before we get into Thor, I was going to say Silver Surfer. This is the other Thor versus Silver Surfer cover he did. And I love this cover. I think it's such a homage to everything. So it's good.
And hey, shout out to our buddies, J Hood Creative.
Nice.
And Hialeah Comic Bro, my brother.
Nice. J Hood Creative, nice. Good seeing you guys. So we're talking Buscema right now, and we're talking about the characters he did. We talked about Conan. And now I definitely got to hand off to my buddy Ken. He's definitely going to, let's show some Surfer. I'll just share right now. Surfer 1, Surfer 4, Surfer 2.
Yeah.
I love Surfer 2. It's an underrated cover.
Yeah.
That's actually the one I chose to have John sign back in '99. This is a poster I had signed at the Westchester Civic Center at the Comic-Con there. The poster was $10. John signed him right there, and that's when he was like, I can't do sketches right now, but he was signing little things, and they were giving away these cards.
Oh, so, yeah. That's awesome. Here's your original artwork right there, right?
My original artwork is here. Sequential artwork is this.
Ah.
Yeah, I'll show this one at the end.
Okay.
In a little bit, because I want to do this is Thor.
Yeah.
So
when we get to the Thor section.
Yeah, we'll go into the old shit too. Yeah, we'll show you some Silver Surfer. Yeah, exactly. Highlight. Silver Surfer 2 is a great story. The Badoon is such a better Super Skrull than anybody else.
Yeah. And Surfer 3 is a great cover.
There's Mephisto. Yep, great one. I love that. Actually, I'm sending mine off to CGC. Here it is in its shitty poly bag because they destroy your anyway. Yeah. Sending mine off to CGC. So
talk about
finally sending it off.
Motion, like we were saying, man. Like it shows up in every cover he does.
Yep, I love it. I love your analysis of it. Oh, by the way, in the comments on here is a link to Whitewhale Comics' artist review series he did for me last year for my Buscema video last year. Last year, I think I was more drunk. Working on it this year, but But I'm going to share some Thor stuff later on. But I definitely want you got to show out some Surfer. So I'm going to bring the big one on you, and this is some of the great.
Yeah, and I do have my Surfer one. I still need to upgrade. This is one that 2020, like I got to start putting my hit list together, and I need to upgrade it. But I still have it. It's the only 0.5 green on the census, brother.
I love it.
It's one of a kind.
You can't get rid of that.
No, this one's my. That's not the back cover of Surfer 1.
I was gonna hang on. Where's my Surfer 1?
It's like the Renaissance battle on the back. So I don't know what cover that is.
Yeah, I got a different back. For sure.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Either way.
I was gonna say. Yeah,
I got my placeholder.
I like the green label on. It looks good with the green label.
It's not bad. Yeah. And for 0.5, it actually the center of the cover looks great.
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy with my 6.5. I could care less what they grade me on that thing. I'm not upgrading it. Now this. Oh, did you ever see this one?
Oh yeah, that's recent, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I got mine graded. I know you probably remember last year. It was December. It came out. It was on his birthday anniversary, and I bought it and it came. And I said I got this, and I think I debuted it on that show.
That's from that little Defenders miniseries, right?
Right. It was literally that was it, and it was a Buscema. But now they're doing another one for the Thor coming out. But it's one in one.
I saw that. It's like 1 in 1,000, dude.
Fuck you! It's not even that good. I'm blaspheming, I know, on a Buscema show, but I'm like, come on! I looked at it.
It's cool.
Badass. This
show is insane.
This looked real good, and I only paid like $65 for it raw when it came out right away, and I shipped it off. But I was happy I got it right away. But I was like, oh man, this was a lot. It's a lot. I think you gotta see it in person to appreciate the contrast right there. Yeah. For the action, you're right there. It's constant motion.
It's a nice one. Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah. But I wanted to show you that one just because now I want to show you where it all started. Good stuff.
Yeah, I like that. And
love that 0.5.
Yeah, man. And I'll tell you what, for 0.5, you got to say it presents pretty decent for a 0.5. It's the spine is all thrashed, but the center,
right?
It's like. Nice.
And remember, that's a big book. That's a huge, that's a 25 center back when they were 12 centers. That's a double book.
Those spines are easy to split and shit,
Yeah.
But yeah, that one will get upgraded soon. And because these books are such a great way to showcase the art. Before I start opening this up, this has always been a favorite too of mine. I always dig these Marvel magazines and Epic Illustrated #1 with the great Frazetta cover, who's another.
That's what I just said. You get Starlin in there, Frazettas.
Yeah,
you get Jusko.
Oh, the Starlin stuff in here is.
Yep. Almgram.
Dude, the Starlin stuff is crazy. Mm-hmm. But there's it's one of my favorite little stories to read and one of my favorite artwork that he did. It's only like 4 or 5 pages, but it's Stan and Buscema.
Yep.
And he went to town. I don't know if it was his collaborator that colored it. I think it was actually.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
because they give credit to another artist. Maybe you know his name. Let me see if he draws a line to you. Because story by Stan, art by John Buscema and Rudy Nebrez, painting by Rick Vate.
I don't know.
So it's a little bit of a collaboration,
Yeah.
But there's just great stuff in here.
You know, there's a Stan Lee and John Buscema Superman.
I did not know that.
There is. It's so hard to find.
A story?
It's not about money, it's just hard to find. It's just one-shot book. It's like a what if they drew Superman. Yeah.
No shit.
See if I can find it. Yeah, I tried to buy it on eBay one time, but I was like, and it went right away for like $15. I'm like, it's probably not coming, but
I would think so. Yeah, because we can play that game later too. Because sometimes with like classic artists, you know, I like to play the what if game of like, oh man, I wish I would have loved to seen them work on this or that.
Right.
Superman's one of them. The flying poses you get, but
oh my god, yeah.
These are the IDW Artist Editions, which I recommend everyone have at least one of these in their collection. All the major artists, probably one of your favorite artists has one of these published, and it's huge like this because it's the original size that they worked on. And they have, I guess, apparently IDW dished out some bankroll to buy the original art pages for some big time books. So I guess this is a way of them returning on their investment a bit because they scan them in high def, high resolution, whatever. It's the original pages. Let's see. And you get it in full size, the way that he drew it, you know, and he signs a lot of the pages too. And it's cool because you see, especially in the early pages, you can see the, oh man, look at that.
Nice.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But there's pages that really highlight, here we go. You can see in the earlier pages them working with like that Marvel method, you know, of you see Buscema drawing the pages and there's these little notes outside the panels and he's directing the action. You know,
nice.
You know, whatever. He's directing the action in the page. So it's that classic Marvel method of, hey, artist, plot it out, write the pages with a general direction, and then Stan's going to go and include all the flowery vocabulary, you know.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see the original pages of that in action, you know.
That's awesome. Keep going. Nice.
Yeah.
I love those books. They kind of tell you much more than you'd ever think.
And then, yeah, and stuff like this of you kind of see unpublished parts of it too. So on this page, and I think this is issue 2. And on this page, you'll see those 2 top panels didn't make the cut. That's why they didn't even bother inking them. And they pasted in these 2 pages instead. Because on the next page, it gives you a little like editorial paragraph about why they changed it. And apparently they said they wanted to make Surfer look a little more powerful and more of a force to be reckoned with. So they went with the car smashing against the criminal instead of, because over here the criminal kind of looks like he's in the power position, kicking the guy and stuff.
Yeah.
So they wanted to make Surfer a little more in control there into when they pivoted here. So yeah, just little fun facts like that you would never know unless you saw, you know, what they did with these original pages.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. And you know, I won't go through the whole thing, even though I read these stories. It was cool, like reading the issues this way, you know?
Yeah.
But at the end, they do a cover gallery. I gotta show this page. Yes.
Oh yeah.
You know what's the sad thing though, JB? In this whole
let me bring that back to you.
Okay.
Let me show that again. I want to see that. Yes. Love that one.
Yeah.
I bid you right.
But you know what's the sad thing, JD, in this whole book, dude, is there's not one Galactus drawing in the whole thing. And that's
no, yeah.
I'm like, oh man.
The funny thing is when
Oh, you do get some.
Like the weird thing about the Galactus drawing of like when he did draw him, he drew Galactus. He was drawing him much more in the Fantastic Four late versions. Oh yeah, number 14. Yeah,
you get some Spidey. That's cool.
that's 14. Yep, that's issue 14.
Let's see. So let's get to these covers. So boom, here we go.
Yeah.
Can you imagine owning the original art, dude? Like,
I think that one's around number 4. It doesn't exist.
Amazing.
4 does not exist, but yeah, what are you gonna do?
1. Oh, and here's for 2.
Oh, look at this.
They did a little editing on it because I guess because what did it ended up going with the. Well,
because originally when Lands of Saucer, what happens is the Badoon are kind of like Skrull cat characters, but they're the Badoon. They're like super Skrulls, and they're their own weird freaking things. And they came in on a flying saucer, but I think the flying saucer, you see the cover of everybody running away from the flying saucer. I think it was too much. Maybe they kind of made him ride like a surfer instead of a portion of a flying saucer. You know.
Yeah, they made him a little bigger too. It seems.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see how they, before Photoshop, they had to like cut it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I love that stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. I love that.
Oh yeah, the classic one.
Yeah.
It's like the Swan song. He just loved it. Yeah. That's John's signature. Yeah. Beautiful. Good.
Yeah, good. I love this book, man.
Yeah. My hardcover book is the one I have. You can see it if you look above the silver here. It says the Buscema. It's in a half English, half Italian. It's from a museum in Italy. It's got the Avengers 57 on it. It's got Big John Buscema, but the only reason I didn't want to get it because Mjolnir's in the way and it's kind of holding up the homage fake statue, fake diorama I made of Silver Surfer 4, using a real statue of it and a Fantastic Four toy from the 90s that I had.
Isn't it crazy how many, like when you just casually bust out the 57, like how many classic, like all-time covers are Buscema?
Yeah.
Now,
if you want to see something cool, like everybody's like, oh, the red and the black on that. I kind of bring out this book, and this is kind of faded, but this is a book John Buscema did in 1952, and this is the first time you kind of see him just use the two-tone look.
Oh man, I love that one.
Can you make that? Yep, I'll make that big. So this is it here. This is Wanted Comics by Orbit Publishing from 1952. This is number. Actually, it's funny. This is the first cover work of his. In other words, he did all the interior artwork by itself. It's all 100% John Buscema art. So it's 1952, so 4 years after he started working in comics, and it's a great violent story there, what's going on, but they always had the FBI, when the crime novels always had the wanted list, but there it is right there with the giving him credit, not his signature, like the stamp approval right there, like you have like the Jack Davises would have and the Lee Eliases would have in the EC world. So this was back again in that era when that was going on. This is the violent pre-code books right here, there, the dog flying through the air. So the dog who cried murder right there. So it's a pretty cool cover. And the very next book he did of that one, I just want to share that just so you see, like we just talked about that, is he kind of did a three-tone, cover there, and they should rule of She-Hulk. Another Wanted comic he did. This is the very next issue. Very hard to find in good grade. There's one on eBay for $1,000. I'm not paying that. Yeah. But it's real hard to find. But it's beauty. It's a beautiful book. And there you can see the three-tone right there. So I'm just sharing you some of the Wanted comics. I do like those. There's another one I have.
Yeah, that red and black one is amazing, dude.
Yeah, this is the other one I have of Wanted that he did. Another violent. This is a gunshot to the throat. So it's pretty violent. Wanted. He was doing crime books at this time when he left his early work. So, oh, by the way, I did find that. Bang! There it is.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. The Stan Lee and with John Buscema doing. They did a Superman. They kind of changed the how they would have done it differently. You know.
Oh right, I remember this like the '90s.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
the Just Imagines. Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember a couple of
yeah. I
these.
remember the. I was like, what if? You know, the DC version of What If. Yeah,
Yeah.
just imagine. Yeah.
And hey, shout out to our buddies, Avi NYC. What's up,
Nice.
brother?
What's going on? What's happening? Buscema. Does he want to come on and hang out?
Yeah, anyone's welcome to hop on, man. We're just shooting the breeze. A little Buscema appreciation.
Yeah, we're just talking Buscema. If you want to come on in. We're just sharing not just the covers, but we were talking about the interiors, and I was going to show some cool things. I was showing the greenness. Where did it come from? There's the greenness.
Yeah.
You got this is the great story on this one is this is a piece of original art I made a bid on that I couldn't believe I was going to get. It was page 2 of Strange Tales 150. And it's the first panel page Buscema did for Marvel after. Well, it's his first official post-hero time, I would say. It's Strange Tales. It's from 1966. He did do that cover, The Tales of Suspense 3. Where's that one? Who knows? They're all over the place. So, Tales of Suspense 3 cover. This one. He did do this one in 1959, but then he comes back to Marvel, and that's there. And I lost it, but it was I think it went for like $325 at the time.
Right. How long ago was that roughly?
Not that long ago. A couple of years at that.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's when people weren't. I mean, it's crazy right now. But got to show Bella every time I see her. God, look at this perfectly drawn Bella.
Yeah.
I'm a big Bellet fan. I know. All those Red Sonja fans, I'm like, come on. But
and Los earlier shouted out Wolverine. He said, "Don't forget Wolverine."
Oh, I was bringing that up. I was gonna say, if you want to know a series that reminds me of Silver Surfer, is I'm not gonna blaspheme and say Dave Cockrum didn't draw Wolverine well, or Jack Kirby didn't draw, Silver Surfer well.
Yeah.
You know. I'm just gonna say that Patch is my Wolverine, and without Patch, there's no Logan. Without no Logan, there's he made the backstory of Wolverine absolutely amazing. Absolutely,
yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
the Japanese run, the artistic, the writing of it was perfect, and credit the writing, but the artistic drawing of what Patch looked like, and just the different, I would say, a more violent Wolverine. Since the Frank Miller series, it's Wolverine's first series, so I kind of think if you want to know how much faith they had in Wolverine, they had a lot of faith in him because they gave him to Buscema. But like Buscema's first run on Silver Surfer, it died after 17 issues. The KOD is all right. We'll try out. It's not going so well with the new characters, so they put Thor in the fourth one and to kind of generate. Then their last resort is Spider-Man, and if Spider-Man can't pick up your sales, you're gone.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
done. That's exactly what happened in everything. You can go back and look it up. Look at Nova from the Bronze Age, from the Silver Age, from the end of the Silver Age to the middle of the Bronze Age. Marvel, if they put out a new issue, if Spider-Man couldn't save you, nothing did. It was where it ended.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
Look at Nova, look at Surfer, look at
yeah.
There's so many of them. The She-Hulk, all of them.
I would have loved to seen a real good size Buscema X-Men run, man.
Yeah, I mean he did such great interior work. He didn't like doing superheroes though. He kept saying that, and he really did his best work. Is the interior works on the Conans and the Wolverine and like okay, so let me show the original art I have and why I chose to buy this piece of original art. I wish I could much more action page or something along that lines. I agree with it, but this is John Buscema original art, and this is Hercules.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
You got Hercules. You have Thor right here. You've got Armok, who is the Neanderthal man who dies. This is his actual death. Right here. Right, he never comes back. That's it, gone. There's Hercules here. It's a cool scene with some cool things. It's actually a historic issue, just because, in my opinion, it is. It's not worth anything as far as your key issue people, but it is kind of.
What is it from?
It is from this one here, a Buscema cover drawn. It's this scene right here, Thor 231, and it's the second to last page. This being the splash, of course, the one you'd want.
Yeah, nice.
I end up with this, which is just as good. To me, it's really cool because I got Herc on it. I got Hercules, and
yeah, hell yeah.
Every Thor fan is a big Hercules fan too, because Hercules and Thor go back to the first run. So there it is. That's my Buscema original artwork there, and yep, it's a poor guy's getting tossed right off the scaffolding and drops dead right there. Thor just punches him. Kills him right there.
Yeah, it's a great action page too.
It's actually, there's a reason why, and it's on the next panel, that Thor, this is when he starts to become unworthy, by the way. Yeah, he starts.
Yeah, I like that falling panel. That's pretty badass.
And there's I don't have my What If 10, which is an homage to Journey 83. The What If Jane had Mjolnir. I actually sold mine. But I wanted to show you, he did another homage to Kirby. Is obviously She-Hulk is Hulk 1, just redone with a female, right? And that's Buscema. It's one of those things. You gotta. Every Buscema fan has to have one of these.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's just it's the best book. It really is such an underrated, absolutely top 10 book to have in your collection, for any reason other than the fact that this was great when you were 10.
Yeah,
God bless her.
What's up, D-Runk? Welcome to the show.
D-Runk, what's going on? Good seeing him. So, if anybody wants to chat in, join in, or ask questions about Buscema, or ask anything, or come on, whatever, we're just chilling.
Yeah, one thing maybe you can let me know a little more if you know.
Yeah.
One thing that I didn't really even pick up on entirely until I went through this book was that there was a good chunk of issues where him and Sal Buscema worked together on this, and Sal was inking his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew that they collaborated together, and it prompted me to look into Sal's come up a little bit. It seems like John basically hooked him up in the beginning, right?
And Sal is phenomenal in his own right. He's just Dom DiMaggio, Dom DiMaggio was a great ball player. He's just
not going to be in John's shadow,
but it's not like, I wouldn't say that. He's like Larry Lieber is still credited for doing a ton of stuff.
Sure.
Larry Lieber is Stan Lee's brothers, so you figure it out. I mean, but Sal's first work inking was on Silver Surfer 4. When they gave him all the issues, that's where Sal always said it was a great thing. Stephanie Buscema, who is his granddaughter, who did a lot of My Little Pony stuff. I saw her at a con, and I was asking her questions and talking to her and laughing, and she's like, "I can't believe nobody put 2 and 2 together when they saw my name." I was like, "Really?" She's like, "No, I even have she even does the Silver Surfer 4 with 2 ponies." She has one of those. Stephanie
Buscema.
Yeah. And she was at a show, and I asked her about this. She goes, "Well," she's like, "Well, Sal is actually the one who did a lot of the inking work on all the works and stuff like that." And that's where it was he was 16, 17, working there before he got a full-time gig. And he was doing Avengers. Sal did Avengers very young. He was doing the big titles. Defenders, gave him his own title in the 70s. It was great. And Sal, let's not forget, Sal Buscema worked with so many people and so long, and inked and did work with so many different issues of books from Spider-Man's all the way down. I mean,
Did he ever get into penciling stuff, or was he an inker?
No, he penciled everything. He did covers, every Defenders. That's all. Most of the I bet you he did more than John.
So was he a lead artist ever on a title?
Yeah, he was.
That he had his own book.
Some of the Avengers, the middle Avengers, he did. The lead artist on the Defenders, some Spectacular Spider-Mans. Was that him or Bagley? One of them's Bagley and the other one's not. Either Peter Parker's Spider-Man or Spectacular. Yeah. Sal did a lot of. Just look up Sal Buscema. Did Conan's. Nice. He did some Thors. He did almost everything. Sal.
But a Marvel guy his whole career.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I can't share the link. If you want to join it, send an Instagram to 84. If you want to join NYC, if you want to come in and talk Buscema, if you're dressed, please be dressed. I was going to show more. One of my favorite things I was going to show about Buscema is the. I showed it briefly earlier, but I think I should show this again. If you want to know this is one of my favorite things to do with John is just. He swipes himself, but two totally different. It's anticipation again, It's the actions there. I love that one. One of my favorite covers. I'm going to show Thor covers. It's weird because I love these two. And they're just some of my favorite Buscemas, and it's kind of funny because I just realized that's pretty much the same thing as Silver Surfer 4.
Yeah, right.
I like that one, and this one is pretty much right there. Close. This is Odin, Father versus Son. This is a classic, one of my favorite covers ever, done by him. A few other ones. The big three. If you're Buscema, is the Ark, the Ragnarok Ark.
Okay, yeah. That's cool. I've never seen that book before.
Yeah, that's 200. That's the Ragnarok issues. And then these are the other two covers I chose of these ones. The other ones have great covers as well. They're all done by John. But these photo covers are classics.
Yeah, with little borders around them.
Wow, good job, honey. Show mommy. Thank you. All right, my daughter's writing her name. Good for her.
Nice.
What was I going to show? So his first cover ever. Here it is.
Wow.
Always Lose, 19.
There you go.
This is December of 48 or January of 49, depending on what magazine you find out. Lawbreakers Always Lose, number 6. Lawbreakers Always Lose, number 3. I'm on the hunt for. I've been searching for it. That is his first published work as far as the time goes. Not his first work he did. First work he ever got paid for by Stan, which is his first person who ever hired him in comics was Stan himself. I don't know.
Yeah, and like I had told you before we went on, I didn't realize that until relatively recently of how much of an OG he is in the game. That he had
he
artwork. I've always just thought he was synonymous with 60s Marvel, 70s Marvel.
It's funny because this is a good example of this is like this is Gil Kane's early work and Dick Ayers and stuff like that. That is his first work is inside of that book, and that's for 1948. That's middle of the Golden Age, buddy. 100% correct there, 84.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah. There's if you're into if you want to try to get the Golden Age Buscemas, they're not incredibly expensive. They're harder to find.
Yeah.
But they're not incredibly expensive. That's the fun part. They don't run much at all. There's no mega key of the early Buscemas. The hardest ones are probably the Wanted. The Wanted runs is probably the hardest of them. Some of the Atlas stuff is the early Marvel Timely. Pretty easy to find. This is a good example. You can find these. These are pretty well produced. Golden Age books. Yeah, I saw a very good job. Um, so it's actually, you can actually see that this is the rendering. You could just see, oh, I could see Buscema in that. It's
Yeah,
totally Buscema.
yeah, I
And
can see that.
this
Yeah,
is a kid. This is 1948. This is 20 years before this.
yeah, that's the part that's always blown me
20
away. 'Cause, like,
years
he was
before
working 20 years before that.
he was doing this cover.
Yeah,
You know?
and
And
you know, a
yeah,
novice
his
artist, and I think you are too. Uh,
yeah.
the book behind you, How to Draw a Good
Oh
Boy,
yeah, may as well show it.
which I totally had that myself too, growing up.
This
Is
is
that a
my
hardcover? Oh shit!
yeah. This is the first. This is the first edition.
Oh, mine was soft. Yeah, that's
Yeah, this friend of the family had this, and he said how to draw comics the Marvel way, and it's right there. No, it's not signed, but it was $8 when it came out. Uh, but it's one of the things that you learn more than anything else is the I always the five rules: shapes, vantage points, lighting, view, centering. You know, where do you want the center of your everybody to look at? And yeah, I mean the video on this is still, it should be mandatory for anybody who draws,
yeah,
especially Marvel books. So um,
yeah, that's cool.
this is what I was going to show one of my favorite Thor, Hela. This is what Hela was based on, obviously, and there she is. Look at, I mean, in all her.
Did he create Hela?
No, she's from the Journey to Mystery Days to Jack.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
a little more.
I never really collected or got into, so I'm out of the loop on a lot of Thor stuff.
Thor. Yeah, he was just John doing Thor started in the 179 time. I mean, he was doing the Fantastic Four. Started at that run. This is 112. He started that run at about 108. 109 is a famous cover. 108 was probably his first one. In the Fantastic Four run.
But he
was
didn't
doing
go all
Avengers.
that long on FF, right? How many issues do you remember?
He did FF. He did 2 years on it at least.
Oh, yeah.
He
Okay.
did.
So more than I thought.
109, he was doing it in the 120s and the 130s. That's a lot of that's him and Jack. Yeah, him and Jack worked together a lot on that stuff. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The 130s before, yeah, and then he started Avengers with Avengers 41. That was his first one. That's actually his first cover for Marvel. Marvel Comics, not Alice Comics, but Marvel Comics itself. Technically, that's not Tales of Suspense, the Marvel Comics, and that is obviously the cover of the book. But they always say the did was the best right there. I didn't bring it out probably, but yeah, that's a really cool cover. It's got a big dinosaur kind of going on the cover. But yeah, he started Avengers in 41. So he did 41, and he did off and on all the way through the Neil Adams, Barry Windsor Smith. John was always around for a lot of them. Came in especially around the one teens, the Defenders versus when his brother and him were doing the Defenders versus Avengers War. Sal was doing both Defenders and Avengers, as was John doing both. So it was kind of going back and forth. Those are some great covers. John Romita was doing a lot of that during the Avengers Defenders War, so that's what they were doing. But John, yeah, he also did a lot of those love stories too. I know I kind of I don't really talk about that, but you got to remember, you know, this was his first work he ever did. This was his first paid work. It was actually, this is based on a true, and he's just number 4. I'm not going to pull it out. Well, I can pull it out, right? But it's about a 4 copy. This is his work. It's in here. This is came out 1948. He did this in the summer, but this is an annual. This is produced like annually versus the other one that was done monthly. The Lawbreakers Always Lose was a few months before. So
we got a question from the chat. And by the way, what's up? Stay puff, brother. But
what's going on?
Wolf Blitz asks. He knows your first favorite Buscema cover. Do you rank a second, third?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Number 2.
Yep.
Number 2. And where's my number 3? Well, I'll show it. I've showed it 3 times already from here. And I know it's a weird one, but whatever. That's it.
Yeah.
I love this cover. Love the color contrasting. And remember, the aliens are in color and the humans are in the black and white. If you go to some of that, usually the victims are in the afterthought, while the main character. And I just love flying saucer covers. And it's like a callback to the sci-fi golden age. It's 1959 too, so there's something to be said about that. Maybe the work he ever did, his most talented work, was probably most of his interior stuff.
Yeah.
As far as cover work, obviously Silver Surfer's there. I mean, it's kind of hard to knock. Avengers 57. I mean,
Right.
I mean, this is ridiculous. Yeah, it's tough, but I would say certainly I do rank.
Probably got to be in there.
Yeah, that's a. I would my
that
is always going to be this.
And I'll tell you what, man.
This is always.
And just the composition.
Yeah, that's for me too.
I mean, with the subtleties of the moon in the background, the mountain of bodies that he's standing on. Talk about establishing Wolverine as like a vicious motherfucker.
Yep.
That's what this cover tells you. It's dark, it's black. He looks like Savage Wolverine, pile of victims.
All the original art just went up for sale last month, and I just saw it all sell.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The whole run, run.
I believe
issue
it.
1 all the way to issue 10, all the Buscema work and the Sienkiewicz work. So that's early Sienkiewicz stuff is in there too. So that's
yeah, he's got because I was looking up a bunch of these artist editions, and they got Kirby. You can get Kirby ones. Like Kirby has his Mr. Miracle and New Gods ones for like maybe $70, $65, $70. They'll normally run you like MSRP. I think is like $100.
Yeah.
But the Bill Sienkiewicz one, which I think is like New Mutants. That thing, if you try to buy that in the aftermarket, it's like you're paying like $300.
Yeah, I mean the Simonson was a little expensive. I got it when it came out, thank God. The other one is the greatest covers ever.
Yeah, I've seen those.
I think it's GSX1 is the cover.
Yep.
I think it's GSX1
because they have like 2 or 3 volumes of
right. Yeah, I think that's volume 1.
Yeah, I think there's one that might have Avengers 4.
Yeah, there's one with Avengers. Yeah, that could be a good one. Yeah, that would be one. Yeah. Anyway, I have those IDW. I do like those books. And that Buscema one has always been on my list of ones. I just don't have. They just take up so much space when you have like 6 of them. You're like, fuck. You know,
I come in those nice boxes though. It comes in a nice. Those nice.
Yeah, I do.
It comes in. I appreciate that.
So I was going to show, the obscure Buscema thing. Like this is signed. I showed that. This is signed. This is a rare Buscema card. That's, the Silver Surfer sketch cards.
Yeah, I love that.
One of my favorite Buscema things I got literally not that long ago. Oh, here's a rare thing. This is a quarterly report if you were a stockholder in 1993 of Marvel Comics. When you had a stockholder, this is the cover. It's so cheesy, but it is so 90s. Look at it. And yeah.
It's Thunderstrike's on the cover. It's 90s as fuck.
It's Thunderstrike. It's 2099. It's visible. It's a visible girl with built like a bear. Look at Daredevil. And Rhodey is Iron Man,
Oh, the Fall from Grace Daredevil. That's so 90s, dude. What?
Look at these cool 90s kids right here. This is everybody you in the chat. This is the chat now. That's how cool we were. Hilarious. But there we go. That's Marvel right there. But another weird one that I love. He didn't do the cover. Ramita did the cover. Was this.
Ah.
Now this is the Wizard of Oz Treasury Edition. This is the first. Might as well show you. This is a cool thing if you ever want to. This is actually the first time Marvel and DC collaborated on anything. And this is why it says right here, Marvel and DC present. This is the first time it ever happened. This is before the
Superman, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, I
Right.
think that's the second one.
So they agreed to do MGM. They licensed the right to do the first comic book version of the movie version of the Frank Brown work. So they did the movie one, and they got Buscema to do the interior. And if you've ever seen the movie, that looks like Judy Garland right there, pretty damn.
Oh yeah.
And some of the scenes in here, I just
I see a
absolutely.
Buscema Tin Man. You got some Buscema Tin Man in there? Let me see.
I got a great Buscema Tin Man. You ever see the one when when he sees they run into the wizard the first time, and he's like screaming at him and he's yelling at him and he shakes. You can actually see the Tin Man shaking right here. Can you see that? Oh man, I hate this camera. This thing sucks. Why do we do this? Oh, like this. Okay. There you go. You see it?
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
You can see the Tin Man shaking. Some of that's not badass.
Dude, that's a nice panel.
If you think about it. Yeah, I mean, it's those things that Buscema did that I'm going to show, because not every panel was, a lot of them are. You can tell which ones are him. The main one, the background. But first meet the lines. It's like you could see this happening in Conan or something, Look at the fierceness of the face,
That's a cool
She's
book.
all freaked out. Rare, hard to find in good grade. Very, very happy I have one. Why would they have gotten together on that? That's a good question, Jay. I don't know why it was the GM masterpiece, and this is Marvel and DC present, and it's by Stanley and Carmine Infantino. So there's the two editors. 1955, Volume 1, Number 1. In memory of Judy Garland. That's it. So, and I mean, you got everybody. You got Len Wein. You got Len Wein, the colorist. You got reporting is the production manager. So you got the main art director being Ramita and him. Then you got Buscema and Tony DeZunga and the tribe, and Roy Thomas as the scripter. So, just really just writing the movie. So there you go.
Yeah, that's a power team up right there.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just weird. Yeah, I don't know why they did it.
Infantino's another one. He's like the DC equivalent of these guys like Kirby and Buscema that are so synonymous with Marvel.
Oh yeah. See, and it's funny because I have a second favorite artist, and my Buscema homage is coming down soon.
Yeah.
And my Wrightson is coming up.
Yeah.
I have a lot of rights and stuff. Magazines. I've got I've got a lot of weird books here from the Golden Age that he did stories in, not just covers, but he did some stories in, like All True Crime. He introduced some bad guys. Some of the westerns. Yeah, I'll show the western one.
Yeah, that's cool. And I got about 10 minutes left, JD, just so you know.
Yeah. By the way, this is that book here.
Yeah,
he did westerns.
I didn't know anything about that one.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
But yeah. So all right, now I got to ask you. So I called you off the bat when I did this Buscema thing, and I'm going to do it every year. Buscema birthday video. You were one of those guys that's such a big fan, and you're learning a lot about John Buscema. You said you were kind of surprised how much he did in the gold.
Yeah.
Is there anything? Is there is there something you're on the hunt for him specifically? Like, are you going to hunt for an original art? Are you going to hunt for a specific cover you want? Is there, something obscure or something common what you're looking for in a high grade or maybe a mega key. Because they asked me, I mean, you showed your keys. You showed the big Buscema keys. That's the effed up thing about Buscema is a lot of these books aren't worth a lot, which is great.
Yeah, right.
It's great. Yay. I mean, they are, but they aren't worth like, you know, if you like the greatest Kirby cover, good luck, you know.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Good luck with that. You know, upgrading.
I think the most expensive Buscema cover would be for Avengers 57.
Yeah,
That's about it.
right. And like you said,
Silver Surfer 1.
love She-Hulk 1.
3. She-Hulk 1.
Yeah, love the Wolverine. And I think, you know, even though I technically have it, like the real answer to the question is the next big Buscema book is upgrading the Surfer 1. You know, I really
Nice. Good
want
for you. Good
a
for
higher
you.
grade one. You know,
Yeah, that's yours is a graded 0.5. I'm not giving this much higher. I mean, it's attached, but it's got tape holding this piece on and everything else. I definitely have a desire to get a nice graded copy of this. And the only reason I want to grade one is because I don't see this that often, you know.
Yeah,
and that's one of those weird things.
and when
It sucks sometimes.
when I did that first
when you
deep
can't.
dive and I realized that Buscema was a Golden Age artist, it definitely put on in the back of my mind of not a specific book per se, but wanting to get a Golden Age Buscema book. You know,
The early runs of Wanted he did the interiors of are reasonable priced.
yeah,
And a lot of
like
people Golden Age
that
stuff
red cover you showed is fantastic.
Wait, which
Wanted,
one?
what was it? Wanted 53? Is that what you showed?
Oh, yeah, those covered there. Yeah, they're expensive.
Oof, that thing
just because.
fantastic.
Well, here it is. These are the Wanted ones here. I'd love to help you out. There are 3 of these on the census of each.
Wow.
So,
Amazing.
and I know a guy with I know one of the other ones of this, and I know one of the other ones of this, and they're not the same people. I'm one of the only people that have both. So as far as I know, unless the other guy with one of them has both. But there's only 3 of each on the census. I'm looking for the other 2. I see the other 2 around often, or they're the 4. But he did like Wanted 25. He did a story in that one. 31, 38, 39, 45. But then he did the first cover work he did was this one. And then the last one he did this is the last run of the issue. But yeah, Wanteds are fun.
Yeah, I think I'm
you can look at the
Buscema crime stuff. That looks interesting.
Yeah, and he did a bunch. He did all true crime mysteries, like in the mid 30s, like 33, like one of these here, true complete mystery. This is one he did number 5 on. He did a lot of. You could see a lot of his work inside. Now I'm going to be honest with you, his work is not the best at this age. I mean, I'll be honest with you. No one's going to just say by looking at it and say this. You could say, oh, I could tell it's Buscema. You might be able to, but you may probably not, because here is where you can see that Buscema style, the Golden Age thing of what he liked doing. But the first thing he did, you're not going to know who this is.
No, that's more like historical.
Yeah, he did not do a lot of detail on his early work. He didn't learn to do that until much later on. Even on this, even not that one, but the cover work of some of the other stuff is nothing like he did when he started doing. Well, let's just show it. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, this is what Buscema was best at. I mean, Wrightson did it, and he did it with a pencil. They were unstoppable.
Yeah, that's bad.
So, well, she's just hot. I just gotta keep her.
Yeah.
So anyway, so this is our Buscema birthday thing. I want to thank you, Kenny, so much for doing this with me.
Heck yeah, I'm so honored that you hit me up, man. I was stoked.
Thanks everybody for joining us, celebrating the birthday. Had a good time. And remember, Whitewhale's link. Check the link in the description. Is a link to a video last year Whitewhale did. It was awesome. It was great. So check it out. Thanks again. See you guys later. I'm used to doing it with my outro from